Okay, today's video is highly anticipated. It's something that I get questions about all the time. Starting your first solo trip. Where to begin? What are the basics? What should you know before beginning solo travel and taking the first steps? I have a very simple method. I have something that I've used ever since the beginning. If you don't know me, my name is Em and I'm a full-time solo backpacker. I've been doing this for 2.5 years now and I'm about to leave on my next solo trip in 16 days. I basically have a system that is really easy to follow and something that I recommend to all my clients when I am doing solo travel coaching. Also something that lessens the stress of it and makes it a little bit more organized. And I'm someone that's not even that organized, and this helps me put everything in like different categories, and it's really been something simple for me to understand. Everything that I'm going to be referring to is also in my solo travel handbook, which I did make, and it is currently on Amazon. Basically has information about accommodation, transportation, getting rid of your limiting beliefs, visas, and so much more. So I'm going to link that down below, and it's something that I worked really hard on, and I think that a lot of people would enjoy if you're watching this video. So my system starts with understanding people, places, things. This is a just organized method that is also in this handbook. I'm going to walk you through each one, and I do recommend either writing this down or just putting it in your notes app. I even have my computer out because I have some notes on there that I'm going to use. Make sure to watch till the end of the video because all of them tie together. The last part is going to be about budgeting and timing and stuff, so there's some logistics about this as well. Start with the category of people. As a solo backpacker, if you are planning a solo trip, let's start getting in that headspace, right? Although it is called solo travel, we need to understand that a lot of solo travel is not solo. And that is because, you know, the places that you're staying and the efforts that you're going to put into it to meeting people and being open are highly important. So with this, I want you to start thinking about ways that you're going to be meeting people. It's okay if you don't want to stay in hostels, and actually a lot of people choose not to. Obviously, I recommend that as someone that is a part of the travel community, and I see the way that hostels bring people together. It also provides the proper space to meet people. If you're someone that is not ready for that, I recommend putting efforts into going to cafes, going to events, going to different local things, spaces in the community that bring people together, because at the end of the day, solo travel, although it is about you, it is also about your efforts in meeting other people and connecting with other people. If you're someone a little bit more introverted, that's completely fine. There are introverted people that are also wanting to connect with others and make friends and be in that community space. So just start thinking about ways that you're going to connect with people. So moving on to places, this is when we start thinking about the locations, the cities, even the accommodations that you're going to be staying at. In this video, I'm not going to be talking about work exchange, but if you are interested in doing work exchange and like saving money as a budget backpacker, I'll make other videos about that, and I also have some that are already up. When we start thinking about accommodations, I always use Hostelworld to find all of the hostels that I stay at every single time. You can also use booking.com. There's other things that you can use, but I highly recommend Hostelworld. Everything that I refer to, like links and stuff, are all on my website in my links, so you'll see that down below. If you're a beginner solo backpacker, I highly recommend going to cities and places that are backpacker friendly. What this means is a large majority of the travel community are going to these places, right? Southeast Asia is a perfect example, like Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia. It doesn't mean going to the most touristy places, right? Because if anything, that's not the priority. It's about going to places that draw in the backpacking community, and also it means you're going to be surrounded by other backpackers just like you, and this makes it a lot easier as a beginner solo backpacker. Might be one of the most important things you hear in this video. I know it's easy to plan in advance. It's easy to overplan, but trust me, that might put more stress on you in these beginning steps. The first thing that you should do as a beginner backpacker when you're planning out the locations is make a list of places that have always called out to you. Places that have always drawn you in, places that are part of, like, you know, a lot of backpackers are going there. This is going to help organize your mind, right? Just by writing it down and seeing it on paper of places that you want to go. I always tell people that in the beginning. And that is something that I do, even like when I'm getting ready for my backpacking trip now. I know that I'm going to Europe, but it's because I have places in Europe that I'm wanting to go to, different cities, different countries. I recommend planning out like maybe the first 2-3 cities and then kind of seeing from there. You get to create this experience. Like if you want to stay 4 weeks in Lisbon, do it. If you want to go back to Lisbon, do it. I did that. Something I also want to say in this category about hostels, if you haven't given it a try, then you have no idea, right? It's the same with food. When you think about food, if you're a picky eater and you haven't given it a try yet, well, you don't know how it tastes. You don't know anything about that food. I recommend giving a hostel a try. If it's still not your thing, if you've given it a few days, I understand it's not for everyone. Then obviously looking at like Airbnbs, hotels, stuff like that, it's completely okay. So now we're on the category of things. I like to talk about budgeting. I like to talk about packing and like what you should be bringing on this solo trip, and timing as well. Before you leave on your solo backpacking trip, I highly recommend looking into rainy seasons around the world. Not that that's like a big deal, but like also when is high season, right, for tourism. And this is going to change your travel experience a bit, not too much, but I like to look into that. And for example, I was just in Costa Rica 5 months ago. Just last month I was back there and it was rainy season. Obviously it changed a little bit of the experience, like it was raining every day, just for a couple hours. For budgeting, everyone has their own budget with solo backpacking. I love to talk about budgeting because I'm someone that makes money online now. I have my own business, but I started as the ultimate budget backpacker. Like I was going off of savings. Like I was running low on the savings. I remember I had to fly back to the US and I started working in South Carolina randomly, just so I could make more money and continue traveling. So I've done the whole thing where I go, I come back, I try to make money. I do, and I go back again. It was this whole cycle of making money and then spending it until I started making money online, and that has changed everything for me, and I'm super grateful. Vacation is so expensive. You go and you splurge and you spend a ton of money and you stay at bougie resorts and you make it an effort to spend more. Travel does not have to be expensive. As someone that recognizes my privilege, I do understand that it takes a certain amount of money, but what I'm referring to is it doesn't have to be expensive, right? I've backpacked with very little money. There are so many different ways to budget. You can do work exchange, you can grocery shop, you can stay in hostels, cheap accommodation, homestays. You can take public transportation. You don't have to be taking Ubers all the time. You can eat at more local places and local spots, like different restaurants and stuff. I've always been an individual just to kind of see right through this, it's like there's so many ways to budget and kind of create your own experience compared to others. At times on social media, we see like the long-term backpackers, kind of like me, where I go for months at a time. But the truth is you can also take a 2-week trip, a 1-week solo trip. I've helped people plan trips that are literally like a week. And sometimes that's great to start off with. So another thing when we're talking about timing, this trip is completely created by you. Another thing is visas. I used to be so intimidated by visas before I started traveling, and then looking back, that was kind of pointless. Depending on the country that you are from, you have a different limited amount of time to stay in these specific countries. As a US citizen, I have 3 months in Europe. 3 months in Europe, and then my time is up and I have to wait to go back. As a US citizen, I have 2 months in Thailand. But that is only because I'm a US citizen, so it really depends on where you're from and making sure that you do that research beforehand. In this guide, I literally have a whole section about how to organize your visas. Here. It's all here, and it literally talks about what type of visas, the length of stay, the documents that you need and everything. So these were the basics that I believe everyone should look into before starting a solo trip. If you have any recommendations on what you want to see or questions about solo travel, please comment below. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, love you.